All right, now we're going to move to the theme of again. So, two stories, again from the New York Times. Yeah, I criticize Cenk for where he gets his news from, but I'm flawed too because I just go to the New York Times, and that's terrible too, that it's so limited. But it's working for me today. So, there's an article this week about how as ISIS is being defeated in Iraq and Syria in terms of territory, they're ramping up their insurgent attacks, terrorist attacks, launching explosives into civilian areas, all suicide bombs, that kind of thing. In the recent months, there have been 1,500 approximately insurgent attacks by ISIS in areas that they've been pushed out of. And I'm reading the article saying, of course, who the hell was talking about defeating ISIS other than the idiot Trump and all the media? It's a terrorist group. For a couple of years, they actually had territory and a bureaucracy and everything. But you don't defeat ISIS, and even if you do, something will replace it, or they're going to morph into just a terrorist organization or return to being a terrorist organization. This article was all the most predictable thing in the world.
Yeah.
And if you actually do defeat ISIS, the terrorists will come out with a different name, just like it used to be Al Qaeda.
Precisely.
And now ISIS is our #1 enemy, and maybe 3 years it'll be some other terrorist group.
You don't, like, my 2 points to that are A, the idea of we will defeat, insert like Muslim sounding terrorist group here.
Or acronym.
Or acronym, depending on like some places use like Islamic State or ISIL or whatever, but like that's only a political tactic. That only works in the realm of politics because you realize if you just do like a tiny little bit of research into this stuff that like terrorism and extremism are based around, like I said earlier, just human ideas. And you can't kill an idea. The fact, all you do is just, when you try to kill an idea, oftentimes you just make more people sympathetic to that idea. Right. And so the way you're not gonna defeat terrorism is by sending more troops, sending more Moabs and things like that. What you're going to be doing is just giving, I mean, part of that's gonna be that because there's some people who just like, you kind of have to get rid of, but you have to do that in a smart way. But the other way is just by changing our overwhelming foreign policy to make it so it's harder to scapegoat the West. Right. Because right now, all these terrorists are recruiting saying, look at what kind of monster Trump is, or like, look what kind of monster even Obama was with the drone strikes, which have only like increased the number over Trump.
Right.
With Trump, I mean. If we change our foreign policy to where we're not droning weddings and other things like that indiscriminately, then people will have less of a reason to hate America.
Right.
And that will go a longer way towards defeating the idea and the battle of ideas that has to happen and that is happening in the Middle East. That'll go a longer way than just sending in more troops because we've been sending in more troops for decades, double, triple my lifetime to the Middle East.
Right.
And we're in square one with better technology and different names.
And sadly, it seems likely, maybe even in his first year in office, that Trump will one day come out and declare that we've defeated ISIS because they are on
with a flight suit on a little like aircraft carrier that says like ISIS accomplished.
Yes.
And then we'll laugh about the banner because that's stupid.
Because they are losing territory that they control on a semi-permanent basis. And as soon as all that's gone and the maps that they show on TV no longer have any ISIS territory, it's going to be a great moment for him, but it will mean absolutely nothing because of stories like this. They're still going to be out there doing insurgent attacks and killing civilians left and right. So yeah.
As long as we continue these like generally hostile policies, then it's just going to continue.